I'll sit here. Now look the other way while I try to get on these chairs.
Which one are you picking?
The one on my left.
Okay, and do you want water?
I do, but
You mean the cup or no cup?
either way, I don't care.
I'll put in the cup.
Am I on? Am I on?
No, you need a little bit more. A little bit more. We put that in the back there.
I think I'm supposed to say, is the mic on? I'm sure Kathy already welcomed everybody, and we are thrilled. This is our first one with audience participation. And can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
One of the most wonderful things about doing this program is, aside from the fact that I'm doing it with my daughter-in-law, which enriches everything we do. But the really wonderful thing is how many people have responded to us by telling us that it's been so meaningful to them. We had hoped people would like it. We didn't go much beyond like, you know, and what they're telling us is it's changing their lives. There are things they can do now that makes a difference. For me and for Kathy, this particular program is very important. I'm a life coach, so I've had a specialty in ADHD. It didn't evolve accidentally. It evolved because I have a husband who has ADHD, a son who has ADHD, a granddaughter who has ADHD, and a grandson who has ADHD. And suddenly you realize it's a big deal. People don't think so. They think they're faking it. It's not real. I assure you, it's very real. So there are a lot of programs. These people are going to be talking to us about something very important that's right here in your town. And we're all going to learn, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys for supporting us.
Yeah, and thank you for all showing up. Some of you came from really far places, so thank you for taking the time to support us tonight. Really, really grateful that you're here. And now I'm going to introduce my daughter.
Is this thing on? Does that work?
Mark and Michael, is the microphone on out here?
Yes. Okay. I don't know if I really need it, but for effect, is this one? Is it this one? Hello?
I can hear you.
I don't really need it. I can project. Okay. Well.
Much better.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here to introduce today's topic, which is, as mentioned, is neurodiversity. I actually have a little bit of experience with this topic. As my grandmother mentioned, I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 10 years old. And growing up, I realized that I tended to struggle with some things that other kids my age didn't seem to have any issues with. This led my parents and I to do a little research about what ADHD really is. And we realized that just because your brain is different, it doesn't make it bad, doesn't make you less smart, or any of the other negative wording that surrounds the conversation in neurodiversity. I've learned that ADHD and neurodiversity are superpowers, and we have so many great strengths. Like, we are super creative and are great at problem solving from a different, hold on, losing my train of thought here, but great at problem solving from different perspectives. Just because the system that the common system that everyone's used to doesn't show our strengths, it doesn't mean that our strengths aren't there. And today, I would like to introduce what today is really about, is understanding. Imagine if we could take the time to understand each other instead of trying to change each other. Like understanding everyone's brains that may be a little different. And I would like to introduce today's hosts to the most important women in my life. They have managed to change a relationship that started off as difficult and a little bit rocky into something of friendship and compassion and understanding. And further ado, today's hosts, my mother and grandmother, and your hosts of Must In-Laws Be Outlaws podcast, Kathy Bloomgarden and Lucette Bloomgarden.
So you now have a proud mother and a proud grandmother. We can't even hide it.
Grateful. So welcome everyone. As we always begin every podcast, we have like a little format where we kind of do some fun stuff at the beginning. So I'm going to toss it over to the funny one of the two of us to kick us off with how we start off every podcast.
Well, we start with a joke about relationships. And this is a joke about one man talking to another man. And he says, I have the most perfect marriage. The other man says, really? He says, how do you accomplish that? The first man says, we go dancing. He says, no kidding. He said, how does that work? He said, oh, it's perfect. My wife goes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I go Tuesday and Thursday. So, thank you.
And that sums up our podcast topic, which is that, I think if we can find more understanding and more humor in life and more humanity, we'll all kind of be in a better place. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest today from Spectrum Designs. We have Kelli Fisher, and she's an amazing communication specialist from this wonderful organization that supports autistic people around, not just in Port Washington, but there are 4 locations now, I believe, yes. Right? So Kelli, and then also Spencer Pusey, who is an amazing employee at Spectrum, who I've had the pleasure of meeting before. Yeah. Pleasure. So welcome. Welcome.
Could you tell us what is Spectrum for those of us who are ignorant?
Yes, so Spectrum Designs is a custom apparel and nonprofit company that employs autistic adults. 70% of our employees are on the autism spectrum. So we do everything from t-shirts, hoodies, to keychains, pens, etc. And our mission is autism employment. So we have people working all across the spectrum, working at Spectrum Designs. And as Kathy said, we have 4 locations now. Our first location started in Port Washington 15 years ago. Then 5 years ago, we opened our second location in Pleasantville, New York. Then we have a partner location that we opened with Global Connections to Employment in Pensacola, Florida, called GC Designs. It's our first franchise location. And then we just opened our 3rd real location in Hackensack, New Jersey in May. So we're doing great things.
Yes, you are. That's
incredible, right? Really. Thank you.
One more question about that. If somebody wanted to become a part of it, how would they go about it?
Well, I mean, they have to go through several rings to do so. Some on fire, but no. And they have to basically show an understanding of the mission that we're trying to support, caring and understanding to their coworkers around them, and a fun attitude to basically get through that 9 to 5.
So I will tell you the real way to do that. So if anyone's interested in working with Spectrum Designs or helping out Spectrum Designs, you can go to spectrumdesigns.org. And as Spencer said, 70% of our employees are on the spectrum, but we are a neurodiverse workforce. So you don't have to be autistic to apply there or to work there. You just have to have a good attitude and be able to work with all different types of people.
Is there an interview process?
Yes, so Spectrum Designs has a very inclusive hiring process from before you even get hired. When they post their job postings, they ask if there's any accommodations you may need before you do your interview. And all the interviews are done on Zoom or Teams at first. So it's very laid back and not as nerve-wracking as being in person. And if you need to have your mom with you, your support staff, whatever, they're very open to that. And then after you do an interview, and if they're interested in you, they like to do a work trial. So you get to come in for a few hours to see how you are at the job and to see if you even like it, because you can apply for a job and you might not even know if you like it or not. So they give you a work trial, so it's a very inclusive place to work. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I mean, you forgot about the 3-ring circus process of it, but other than that, you cover most of it.
Do you have to have been diagnosed with anything in particular?
No, you don't have to have a diagnosis to work there. But even if you think you identify as autistic, we're very accommodating, and we have a licensed social worker on staff. And so all of our employees could use support, neurodivergent or not. So you don't have to have a diagnosis to work there. You want to add anything?
Yes, I was someone who was never really diagnosed with autism, but I heard about the job opportunity there after I finished high school, and I was like, why not? I'll basically give it a shot. And I showed up to our CEO, Patrick, with a completed our resume in my back pocket. I basically say, I'd like to basically be hired here. What do you think? And he was like, you need a little bit more skills than that. And I showed him one of my skills, and he was like, welcome aboard.
Amazing.
How long ago was that?
That was, I believe, 2011.
Whoa.
I was still around very part-timer for a bit with them. There was a period that I did stop working for them. I worked in other locations, but one day around, I think it was 2017, they were basically like getting crazy with a lot of orders, and Patrick saw me just walking around in Port Washington, and I got a text from him basically saying, do you mind coming back to us? We really need your help. And I was like, I'll be glad to come back. And I believe 9 years later, still with them.
You're missing an important part of that. So he was a grocery bagger at a grocery store in town, and Patrick had met him and talked to him many times, and he realized he had more potential than just bagging groceries. So Patrick gave you a shot, and now you're doing amazing things being a decoration specialist.
Oh, shucks.
And that's actually very impressive. It's very impressive because we see people all over town. I'm originally from Great Neck, sorry. But we see people bagging groceries. But to know that there is a place that they can go and grow, that's the name of the game. We all want to grow. And so that's great. One of the things that you and I were talking about this podcast was how do you relate to people who might have one of these possible disorders? We all think we're good parents. We all think we know what we're talking about, but sometimes we actually don't. And that's something we really need to explore a little bit.
Yeah, that and even just the miscommunications and misconceptions, right? So like our podcast is called Must In-Laws Be Outlaws? And everyone today was so excited about the topic. They were so excited about learning more about neurodiversity. But everyone also said, why are you talking about neurodiversity? Like, what does Must In-Laws Be Outlaws have anything to do with neurodiverse people?
Right.
Well, what they don't understand is that, like Lucette said, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law has ADHD, my daughter, we have an entire family line, my husband. So misunderstandings happen in every kind of relationship, not just in-law relationships, or maybe especially in in-law relationships, but every relationship has some kind of misunderstanding. Our goal really in having this conversation with Kelli and Spencer, because they are autistic, is to really learn better communication skills instead of judging, instead of like when you see someone bagging groceries and they're maybe won't look you in the eye, or they're short-tempered or feel like they're being short with you. The goal would be to listen with curiosity as opposed to maybe judging them. So this conversation was really just to find a little bit more understanding. So I'd be grateful if you guys could talk about any misunderstandings or any better way to communicate, when to open hearts.
Would you like to go?
Sure. So there's always been the occasional misunderstanding from either my perspective through other people or other people's perspective of me when I basically am trying to communicate with certain topics, especially regarding with people that I'm close with. It's always very challenging for me to basically relate those types of energies and proper reading the rooms with those certain people. But I'm always surrounded by loved ones who does help me basically have the confidence to express myself in a way to show the true person that I basically am. Like, for example, my friend Kelli here, if it wasn't for her, I would probably not be on something like this due to, the camera's staring at me. But
Are your parents here?
They unfortunately are not. They are occupied with other stuff, but I'm sure they would love to basically hear what I'm saying right now.
Oh, yeah.
And not just that, but my sisters and their significant others that they are with and all the relatives and all my friends would love to basically hear how I am basically talking to all of you and all you wonderful YouTubers who should basically subscribe to them.
Thank you.
That I'm basically am showing my true self.
Thank you. That was very special.
That was
from
great.
The heart.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I've been misunderstood many times. I went to college. I graduated with 2 college degrees, but I struggled getting jobs. And one time I was on a job interview, and within 5 minutes, the employer told me he couldn't hire me because I didn't make eye contact. So he assumed I couldn't do the job just because I didn't make eye contact. And that really upset me and really stuck with me. And then eventually I had several part-time jobs, but then eventually I found a place like Spectrum, and now I'm working full-time, and I run all of our social media, so it's pretty cool, and we've gone viral many times. So it goes to show you, when someone gives you a chance and believes in you, it can work out.
I just want you to know, I don't know if you can see it out there, every time she mentioned the word eye contact, she looked right in my eyes. You're doing great.
Thank you.
One of the things Kathy and I have developed is a paradigm on how to deal with issues. So it started out, must in-laws always be outlaws? However, as it evolved, we realized dealing with people who have any neurodiversity situations, dealing with your own children, dealing with your own spouses, dealing with your best friend. We all have relationship problems. So what is one of the things that we have said, and this is applicable across the globe. I don't care if you speak English or Swahili. This is very important. Do not react. If you're having an altercation with somebody, pause, think about it. Tell them you'll give them an answer tomorrow. Act, do not react. It almost always works out badly. Do you want to give them another one?
Yeah, the second one we talk about, and if you tune into episode 2, we introduce these topics, is this really how I want the situation to unfold? Like, what do I want to accomplish here?
Yeah.
So it's a nice thing to pause and think, wait, what do I want? What is my goal here?
See, when you take the time not to react, you also then have the time to think about, is this what I really want? And it's very interesting, if you're honest with yourself, and we're not always so honest with ourselves, but if you are honest with yourself, you'll say, no, this is not what I want. So that's very important. Do you want to tell them the third one?
Well, one of our friends, David Mon, added one of ours, and he said
I
compromise.
have hair on my face.
And what I really like about David's characterization is he said compromise isn't giving up something. Compromise is changing your perspective. And I think that was really astute of him to say. Compromise is just changing your perspective.
And most of us don't realize that. The reason we don't realize it is we feel if we give in, that's what it is giving in. I'm losing ground. It's not. That's not what it is. I have a sister sitting out there. She knows very well about this with her sister. But the truth of the matter is every single relationship, I don't care what it is and I don't care with whom, do not react. Do not be afraid to compromise. Please think about, is this what you really want? And things will work out much better than you anticipated. Anybody who's listened to our podcast, I know you all have, so will know that Kathy and I did not start out being friends. We weren't enemies, but we conflicted. She's strong and I'm strong. And we kind of didn't know our own territory to begin with. But as time went on, we learned to have a mutual respect. And in doing that, neither one of us wanted to hurt the other one. And so things began to evolve.
And
So-
the fourth one
Yeah,
is
no,
repair. So if all 3 steps falter,
right.
it's really important to know that it's okay to repair, which means that it's okay to say, I got overheated, I'm really sorry, please forgive me. And I think that the goal when that happens is the faster you can get to the forgiveness part, the cleaner your heart is. And that's really
But you have to be
important.
careful. And this is the one thing I find really a problem, for me anyway. I find it a problem when people keep doing things that have a lot of negativity and then they always apologize. Well, how important is the apology then? You know, if you, yes, apologize if you think it warrants it, but then don't do it again and again. So think about your own behavior. We don't. We often think about, oh, she said or he said, you know. Think about yourself. Think about what it is you are saying and how you are saying it. Not necessarily what you're saying, it's how you're saying it.
But I think it's also really important to bring up that, like, Kelli and Spencer probably have a lot of insight into those misunderstandings that might be enlightening for others to hear. So if anyone has questions about a misunderstanding or even an example of a misunderstanding, we're welcome to it. And if Kelli or Spencer are gracious enough to, so I can even talk about a misunderstanding that's a little bit strange, but maybe it'll be applicable. So my husband and I started dating in the 1900s, a long time ago. And in our dating phase, we were walking in New York City. I will never forget this night. It left such a lasting impression on me because we're walking in New York City on the Upper West Side with his best friend. And we get into a conversation, I don't even know why, about poo. I don't know why, but we do. And we are talking about the fact that you know, his system is very different than my system. And he got really heated about it. He's like, your system is broken. Like, something is wrong with you. So he even called his best friend's wife to be like, her system is broken. We got to fix this. Her system is broken. So fast forward, like, and that moment stuck with me because I felt such judgment in that moment, because you only know what you know because you're you. So I thought my system was normal because for me it was. And just like I think everybody who is in a situation where they have one point of view and that's the only point of view you've ever lived with, sometimes it's hard to break free of that point of view. So I remember that judgment so clearly. I felt so judged. Fast forward, 50 years later, where am I going with the story? I get a colonoscopy. Turns out I got an extra long colon. So my system does take a little bit longer than everyone's system. So like, turns out my system is normal for me. And the point in that conversation, the story, is that I think that judgment is something we do when something is not like ourselves. It's an easy thing. It's human to like judge. How do we avoid jumping to conclusions because we know only what we know? And I'd appreciate any feedback on that.
This is going to fall into both of your purviews. In other words, all of us have sensitive buttons. And I'm sure there's certain things, each of you have parents who might push your buttons.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. How can you give us an example, for example? Can you give us an example of a button that would trigger a bad response from you?
You have anything?
Oh, I do. I'm just waiting for you.
You go first. I got the thing.
So, yes, I do have lots of buttons that can basically trigger me. I usually do calm down after a while, but most of the time for me, my form of something that gets to me is basically just either overwhelmness, where I have like a day plan, I have my whole system of trying to basically do certain things, and then literally like a last minute bomb drop of saying, hey, we need you to drop everything you're doing to basically do this particular thing, regardless of what it is. I have a little bit of a crisis with that because of me either going, well, this throws everything that I originally planned out the window. I have all this other stuff I need to focus on. And don't even get me started with tomorrow. tomorrow. That it's just going to be, it doesn't go away, right? All those dust bunnies that basically need to get cleaned up, they're still there unless you actually vacuum them up. And if you just hold them over, they're like an actual bunny, they'll multiply, unfortunately. So it does trigger me a bit when I do try to have like a proper set schedule of certain things while still being open to availability for the people I care for. But when it's like, the last minute, hey, you mind basically come over here because we need your presence. They want my presence as my present. And I'm like, well, I don't mind wrapping myself up to ship over here, but everything else I was originally going to do, it's just I have to deal with that now the next day, and then everything after that just piles up.
Have you communicated this to your parents?
Yes, they definitely are the first to notice of my problems with that.
Okay, it's your turn.
Yeah, I agree with him. Last minute plans frustrate me, especially with friends. Like I'd rather know in advance what we're doing. I hate when someone says, oh, you want to get dinner tonight? And it's like an hour away. And they know it annoys me, so I do communicate that.
And what do you notice that people with ADHD?
I think actually very similar. I think quick changes, sudden changes are really hard to change the trajectory of where they want to end up. And I don't know, do we have anybody in the audience who has any thoughts on that? Because I know we have a lot of wisdom keepers here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jackie, yeah, come to the microphone, thank you. And we only have about 5 minutes left of this episode, so this will be,
I'll be really fast. Spencer, Kelly, it's absolutely lovely to meet you.
Nice to
Likewise.
meet you.
I've been living in this town for 21 years, and I didn't know the value of Spectrum.
Oh
so
my God, that's crazy.
I will now make sure we
We
contribute.
could do custom apparel for anything.
All right,
birthday
consider
party
it
or
done.
school.
And I also came to listen to this beautiful evening not knowing what the topic was or that I would be so touched by it because I too have ADHD.
Oh, awesome.
And I have 2 children with ADHD and one with the double whammy of ADHD and on the spectrum. And he has superpowers, just like Riley said. I'm going to ask you something that is near and dear to my heart, and some of the people in this room have seen me manage it daily. Literal definitions versus the actual execution of something. Example, my brilliant son tells me LinkedIn is a dating app.
He's what?
LinkedIn is a dating app because he was at a college party and saw a bunch of athletes about to go, I guess, on a dating app that was really one, but then said, hey, pause, let's check them out on LinkedIn and see what they look like. And then told me that that's what it is. And then as a natural mother, I'm like, you need to know that LinkedIn is not a dating app. And I got into what turned into 2 headstrong ADHDs with one with a little extra spectrum superpower bug. And he leaned deep into his heels and I leaned into mine. And wow, that was combative. In retrospect, maybe I should have handled it very differently. And at the end of it, he felt more firm in his conviction, and so did I. My question to you, knowing in retrospect, he's actually probably not wrong. We all do that, back end, little personal detail. How do you navigate when your version of the truth is your version, but somebody else's from definition of the way the world can see it, right? I think LinkedIn, that's a professional website where people put their portfolio and their working history. Nobody's dating. Right. Again, firm. Have you guys navigated something similar where your version of the truth is so polar different than the regular conception, but you're maybe not wrong. You're just a creative mind.
And maybe they're not wrong also.
Right. But it turns into me and my son being with full respect.
What would be your answer? Do you have an answer?
I think I have one.
Go.
Well, yes. For me, my definition of the truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear. So if you ever do run into that type of situation, the best thing you could do is, well, yes, you basically want to stick to your guns and basically be, your right situation. If it is basically for loved ones and you have like a hunch that they'll also basically have like the same butting head situation, it is sometimes better just to bend the knee a bit and be like, all right, let's basically check this out together and let's see who's right. Right. And it doesn't matter who wins the coin flip. The point is that you two probably bonded over discovering something that is true no matter whose eyes you're looking through.
So what he's saying, actually,
Where were you a couple days ago?
Probably working at my job.
what he's saying falls right into that paradigm. Do not react immediately. Take the time and go through the other steps, as he just said it in his way, and you're perfectly right. Yeah.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes I'll be in a meeting at work and like I get so frustrated and get so emotional, and then I try not to react. Sometimes you just need to take 5 minutes just to like
That's right.
leave the meeting and just think about it and then like react later. But so sometimes you just need to sit back and just let it go, and then you can talk about it later.
So brilliant. And I have to say, what you just said resonates so well, because I asked my son, how did you get to that conclusion? He said, I experienced it and I saw it.
Thank you.
That was powerful.
Yeah. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you.
Does anyone else have questions or comments that they'd like to share?
I have a question.
Yes. Tracy, thank you.
Hi, this is so enlightening. So thank you so much for sharing your stories. I've listened to your podcast and your stories and how sometimes you've had challenges. But this is an interesting topic because as mothers and as wives, you are experiencing this challenge or, difference. And I'm curious, has that brought you two together? Do you talk about the challenges that you see in dealing with your children and your spouses?
I have an answer.
Go for it.
I don't think that was what brought us together. I think we grew to have a mutual respect as individuals, not because she was married to my son, not because I am his mother. It was one individual vis-a-vis another individual. And I think that's what made the difference. Would you agree, or do you feel differently?
Well, I think that Tracy's right. We do bond sometimes over the fact that Mark and David are gifted in our lives, and it's frustrating sometimes and delightful other times. They have special gifts that...
But that's not what brought us together, I don't think.
No, I don't think that brought us together. I think...
See, we can't agree even on this.
I think that we bond over a lot of things, but this is one of the things I think we do. We do share experiences with.
Yeah, well, there you have it. That's a good question.
And we love to end with what's on your mind. And we often ask the audience to write in questions. So in our podcast world, when we're just in our little studio, we have lots of people who have been so generous to email us at mustinlawsbeoutlaws@gmail.com. So we invite people to send in their questions that way, mustinlawsbeoutlaws@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram. Again, you can follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find or listen to podcasts. And that concludes episode 1, everyone. So thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are great.
Thank you. You're a great son.
So we're going to take a 10-minute break. Again, the bathroom is open for anyone who needs to go. Grab a glass of water. Yes, water. And then we'll jump back in with episode 2. And do you guys need anything? Water?
No, I'm good.